Welcome, everybody. Hope you'll be able to hear me. This is just a little brief introduction and announcement for what I'm doing for 2026. Many of you haven't seen me doing numerology on Lloyd's show. I've been quite busy, very productive putting out other courses. So, I'm just going to mention a few things that I'm going to be doing coming up in 2026. I originally um, had my Circle Grace one up online, and I decided to take it down to give it a rest. I also have been teaching a lot online, and one of the most significant things, excuse me, let me raise up my chair a little bit. One of the most significant things, okay, here we go. One of the most significant things is the opportunity to teach something new. So there were two specific courses that I actually turned into videos. So I have a 6 part video set. That 6 part video set is the 5 point creative pathwork meditation system. 5 point creative pathwork meditation system. And in there, you learn about, you get an introduction on first video, what all of the other videos are about. And then in the second video, you've got what an affirmation is and how to write your own affirmation. The third video was about prayer, how to write your own prayer. Many people might pull it from different standard religious pathways, but I always think that if you do your meditations properly for yourself at some point, that or remain in silence, you could hear the prayer that you should be speaking for yourself. And there are people who have prayer warrior circles because we know that the potentiality of always knowing that there's a spiritual war going on. So, and there's all kinds, all types. So, people can learn how to write their own prayer from their own heart, and this will give them a greater sense of self control and power of their own lives. Then there's affirmative prayers and what that is, and that's how to utilize these prayers that have been worked for quite some time, one through the spiritual mind treatment, as they call it, under the teachings of Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind, and how it is branched out throughout the world by other individuals, master teachers, who walked in that path and now are doing the Center for Spiritual Living. And it is still based on those teachings of Ernest Holmes. And then there was Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who started the Unity Church, and they both still use spiritual mind treatments as affirmative prayers. And then there's also in this course how to learn and study meditation and what that is. Also, how to incorporate it into your life. And then the last video number 6, is all about decrees and how to utilize decrees. Now, this 5 point creative pathwork system with 6 videos also includes a bonus video, which I will use one of many of my creative pathwork meditations as a bonus. And so, this particular course, if it was taught online, it would be for $333, but I'm bringing it down to $270. And if you happen to be one of my spiritual sons and daughters in that particular group, you get it for even less. So you will want to contact me if you're interested. It's a 6 part video series plus a bonus. So you have 7 videos thrown in. And this is an opportunity to really study these things a little deeper. It is based on my book, Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. And so by, presenting it in that format, it gives you a conceptual idea of how to incorporate affirmations, affirmative prayers, and prayers, how to utilize meditation on a daily basis for yourself, even how long one should meditate in the beginning as a beginner, and then also how to write your own decree, what that is, and then how to put it out into the ethers. So that's one of the video bundled courses. The other video bundled course is actually a brand new one based on my podcast title, which is, you mainly hear every Thursday, either live or pre recorded, which is called Clear Blue Radiance. But it was entitled Clear Blue Radiance is the Light Within. And of course, that is an 8-part video set. Now, as an 8-part video set, it had an original price of about, when you see an original price was around $320, and one was able to secure at a special rate $300. And again, if you're part of my inner circle of the Circle Grace One as a spiritual son and daughter underneath me, then you get it for a special rate. So if you want more information about these, and for instance, the very first video lesson with the Clear Blue Radiance is the Light Within, is interpersonal connection of light. And I express the electromagnetic energy, which we all are now familiar with, called our aura, and how it seems to interlock, interlace with other vibrant auric fields around others. And this is not only just the collective humanity, but also the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, so on and so forth. And this also means going into the unseen elements. Unseen elements are what people are beginning to see right now, seeing how worlds are kind of overlapping. This is also good to understand because many of us, for the past 15, maybe 20 years, have been hearing very much about prana, chi, ki, and organ energy. And it's basically all one of the same, except for the chi and ki. Chi is Chinese, ki is Japanese, prana, Prana, is the East Indian way of how energy is moving through our body. The Chinese have the 5 uh, keys, I call them, and it's how to deal with the 5 elements of fire, air, water, earth, and ether or aether. And so these I express in this course, and I also talk about in this very first lesson, Akasha is the realm of remembrance. So these are some of the things that I bring out in this bundled 8-part video course. And so you want to know that's what it is. And then, of course, I email you each set. So as you pay for the sets, as you pay for the videos, I will mail them out to you one at a time so that you have them. Sometimes you mail out too many and they kind of get a little jammed up or lost. So whichever one that you would like to participate in, all you have to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. That's iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. Now, I know I have not been on here for such a long time. I've been, again, doing a lot of studying and thinking about some other materials, other books to write. Who knows, I may develop one that I have in mind for the children and all of us, and as well as addresses the adult and all children, because many children are on the planet and carry what we call old soul. That's the old terminology that we utilized. I'm also a part of a growing, budding international uh, channeling group, and some of those people are have a following, strong following, and connection with Bashir, with a guy by the name of Daryl Anka, who channels Bashir, and he's been doing that for 30 years. And some of the people have been students coming through the Zeth Center, which was connected to Jane Roberts back in the 1960s. And this particular group that I'm with, they're all over the United States. Um, a wide variety of talents of channeling, and specifically in the group, they're channeling hybrid children, and that's children that have the said to have the DNA of uh, otherworldly children who are not on Earth, but as well as a mixture with those who are. And we're discovering how they're literally in the earth, on the earth, and also in your homes. And I've acquired a few just recently, so as far back as the spring. Uh, but it's a very, very unique group. Um, it is free to channel with them. If you have an interest, you need to, if you're on Facebook, I suggest that you look up Ray Heitman. Ray is his first name, Heitman, Heitman. Sometimes he uses the front name Bolero. So Bowlero, Heitman. And he will give you some information as well as Luis Luis Suarez. Suarez, Suarez, first name Luis, and he can give you some information. They are the co-founders of High Vibe Channeling, as it's called, and they do have a Facebook page group, High Vibe Channeling. High Vibe Channeling, and they usually channel every Sunday. Whether it's Mother's Days or Father's Day, they're doing the work. I'm usually on there every third Sunday from 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time with another unique channeler that we have. So there's usually two of us that are channeling. Also, they do a Thursday night as well at 6:30 p.m. So if you go to Facebook and look up High Vibe Channeling, then you get to meet the group and step into it. If you have a strong connection with myself as Brother Francis Revels-Bey, you can give them my name that I told you about it. Also, they have their own YouTube channel. Ray Heitman runs High Vibe Channeling um, YouTube channel, and Don Al Luis, or Luis Don Al, which is Luis Suarez. He has Way Showers TV. And if you want to follow it, all you got to do is go to Way, capital WAY Showers, SHOWERS, with a capital TV at the end, and then right after the V, without any spaces, write these numbers 7822, and you'll be able to go on there and see all the various channeling that has gone on every Sunday and every Thursday. So, and I'm in usually on the third Sunday, and sometimes I channel Akhenaten, Nefertiti, my own ancestors, Mother Grace, Grandma Charlotte, and several uh, collections of hybrid children who have been, I've noticed, been around me. Some give me their names, some don't. One is from Sirius, Sirius, of course, and many others. So there's always this opportunity to, learn more about what's going on in the world. Already, they have done three uh, large events on Sundays for the hybrid children, how to connect with them. Maybe you might have that inkling that you have that hybrid children energy around you as well. And so you might want to investigate this by connecting with Valero Heitman. Heitman is the last name, or sometimes known as Ray. uh, Connect with him and see. There's many people. There's people in there from Greece, Germany, Italy, France, Canada is there as equally represented, and many more people coming in. So it is a growing group. I understand they've been around for maybe a year or longer, and it's just evolving and blossoming. So now, many of you may be aware that I've done numerology. I have a book back there, as you can see behind me over this side. The Key to Life is Numerology. And that was my sixth book. I'll pull that down. That was book number six. Mr. Good longtime friend Lloyd Strayhorn pushed me to write a book on numerology. And of course, the seventh book here, which has grown to be very popular, is called Radiant Heart. And what's going to now happen is I'm also developing some other brand new courses. And the brand new course online will be Meeting Your Higher Self. Now, Meeting Your Higher Self may very well be a 7-week course. It's going to be based on my book, Radiant Heart, the 7 amazing pathways to connect, activate, and communicate with your higher self. Right now, I'm thinking about a standard fee of perhaps $325, and you could probably get a special fee for $297. Of course, if you are involved with me as a spiritual family connected to the Circle of Grace One, and we have that connection, you get it for even a better price. There's also going to be another 7 or 8 week course, and this is based on my Creative Pathwork meditation series. Creative Pathwork meditation series. So each week I will talk about the importance of these color rate kind of meditations, a little different from the late Joshua David Stone, and a little different from other people. So I will be able to present that course. I usually originally had it set up online to go for $333, but now it's been cut back to 270. So people are saving 63 bucks. But if you are a part of my uh, course, in fact, when I originally had it out online 2 years ago, it was 8 classes for $400. And so I'm going to give some other breaks in here. So it was now shifted from 33 $400 down to 33 and a special rate of 270. But of course, if you're again a part of my um, spiritual family as son and daughter, as we say, you can get it for a far less price. And so I just want to get that information out to you when you are seeking more information. And let's say you might want to, jump in and get started right away. Then what you need to do is contact me. Now, I don't know if I'll put the Creative Pathwork Meditation series into a bundle set yet. But these two are going to get started in, as I said, and we're going to Meeting Your Higher Self will start sometime early 2026. And also the Creative Pathwork Meditation. Usually I start to get going with these by January, but to give people more time, I will probably start Meeting Your Higher Self under the sign of Aquarius in February. And more than likely, I will utilize the first Wednesday evening for that. Also, as a 7 week course, and then the Creative Pathwork Meditation series. I have about five, six, or eight of those. We'll see which ones I will select for people to get involved in learning how to utilize the Creative Pathwork Meditation series. And usually, that is very much like a guided meditation incorporated throughout this course, so they're very, as I'm concerned and aware, very dynamically good, done, because I'm also channeling that information. Now, also, I want to let you know that the Meeting Your Higher Self and the Creative Pathwork Meditation series are the latest in terms of brand new online courses. Now, I've had many others. I've taught numerology 3 or 4 times online. I've taught Radiant Heart 3 or 4 times online earlier this year, back to back, literally. I've taught creative pathwork meditations, but also as well as Decree and It Shall Be, correction, Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am book. I started that as far back as 2020, 2021. So I'm putting a lot of information out, and ones I haven't even mentioned, I will also put together more encapsulated teachings from the book The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am, which is channeled. And the second book channel is his partner, the gift called The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am. And I'm working on those. I've taught those before as teleseminars way back in 2018, 2019. So you get a chance to really get into the feeling of these teachings that I'm doing. Now, one of the things I want to do, sometimes we see people popping in and out here as to what I might be doing. So if you happen to pop on here, now I'm not one who likes to play around to say I'm the prediction maker. There's many people that are doing that already online. I am a numerologist. I've been one since 1974, and then in 1978, and this is while I was living on Long Island, New York. Back east, I had the privilege to seek and find a numerology buddy, and that person is world renowned internationally and nationally astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. So I was one of his way back students learning how to do pinnacles and challenges, but also operating with the things that I knew of my on my own. I used to do so many handwritten charts and type charts back in the day, and I met him at the old Tree of Life bookstore in Harlem that was located at 1 West 125th Street, just west of Lenox Avenue, which was also, I believe, known as 6th Avenue. And so there was an opportunity to do that and be able to stay with him long enough where when he was writing his articles, yay, Rose Jefferson, how you doing? When he began to write his articles, he was writing his articles called Numbers in You, and he had eventually his own book, Numbers in You, and all these years later, Numbers in You. So Lloyd is, I like to call him the godfather of numerology in the state of New York and New York City because he's done it so long. And prior to that, Lloyd was and still is an astrologer. He just put the two together and he became the pioneer for that. And he has over, I believe, 8,000 students worldwide now, because he's been able to, come through various platforms. Eventually, I will get back to some of the things. I just feel that my calling is more of meditation than actually numerology. But I will at some point hopefully get on his show maybe in January. I'll give him a call and see if he wants me to come in there. And then that'll be before these two online courses that I'm going to be providing everyone with, kicking them off again in February. Oh, thank you, Rose. Yes, I'm really working on stuff now. There's so much to be done, and the energy is shifting a great deal very rapidly. We're getting, I understand, some solar flares popping up relatively real soon, in this month or next month. And so I've been affected by it so much that sometimes I almost forget that I have appointments on the phone or on a Zoom video stream. So there is a lot that's happening in for us, but it's all for the better. And I feel like there's some kind of help from the veils of light as they get lifted, coming in our direction to kind of balance and purify things and make us as a collective humanity a lot stronger. And so there are many people out there, and of course there are the Maui women that travel around the world for Maui, that are here, and people from Australia that come through, more Maori women coming through. And so women are getting this opportunity to step up onto the world stage, not just as transpersonal life coach teachers, but women have the keys and men need to listen. So these things are now coming to the forefront, these opportunities. Um, there are many more things that will be revealed to us individually as time goes on. We're not going to be just stepping up into energy, but actually stepping into the energy. You will find more and more people talking about timeline jumping, as well as what is the other thing people will say sometimes, quantum jumping, to get information, not just on the world stage and behind the scenes, but I also realize many of us are going to step in and connect with the other parts of ourselves on these different timelines. And that's something that I have been working on personally for myself, to find those parts of myself that are seeded out into this global spectrum. And so, if we can do that, we will find that we will be in much better control of our own lives as individuals, and again, collective humanity, because collective humanity is seeking these teachings. And there's all kind of teachers out there. There's people from quote unquote Native American indigenous cultures to quote unquote indigenous Moorish cultures, Moorish Americans out here teaching and evolving and releasing, just as much as red pill, blue pill is out there releasing teachings. And so many more people are going to come to the forefront. This is what I feel in my heart that's going to be seen by the time we get into the spring and the fall. And so we're going to see a lot more people coming up now wanting to teach, and a lot of younger people. Now, if excuse me, if parents are experiencing their little youngsters who have information to say, I suggest that they get on there with them, not let them just be by themselves unless they have a very tenacious spirit as a person. Then I could see them out there. I myself, through my brothers, one of his daughters, his youngest daughter, Amira, has her daughter, Maya, and she's now a freshman in college. She's really articulate, really stepping up to the plate because she wants to be involved in the film industry, where prior to that, for the past 3 years, she was a poetry slam artist out there in Oakland, California, and then stepped in to become well known at doing that, but also a poet laureate at age 15. Anything is possible, right? So we begin to see this, and this is really starting to happen. Excuse me. So these things are getting ready to evolve, like a new egg is being hatched into the world. More and more. of our own lineage is now coming forward. I always like to say, one of my cousins from Atlanta, older cousins, would say, our ancestors prayed for us to open, and many of us in succession are opening up now, and we're starting to remember who we are. And this is a great thing, is that we are remembering who we are, and we're becoming a little bit more polished because we have the younger people before us. So you think any young siblings, brothers, sisters, cousins, other relatives, other children in your community who are beginning to reach out. Now, there are many children who aren't able to do so. So I think the study of the hybrid children coming into the world, coming into the ethers, is helping many people do that. And so, like I said, many people need to check with high vibe channeling, which is Ray Heitman and um, Luis Donal Suarez. And I've known Louis since as far back as some 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I originally met him around 2012 after I just got here in 2011. In fact, November the 15th, 9 more days, my late dad's birthday, I will be here 14 years. And so this is an opportunity for us to really step forward, actually 15 years. So it probably more prominent because my dad was born November the 15th, and here coming up on November the 15th, I will start to kick off a 15 year. So that's 45-degree angle there, and I'll be able to enlighten and be enlightened at the same time. So what do I need to say? I feel like I need to just bring in some information from Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and they're speaking to me in unison, telepathically to me. Now, other people may hear this and say, "Well, where's this coming from?" Well, all worlds, all galaxies are actually overlapping each other. I also feel that they have a nest egg of energy that's also beginning to expand and mushroom out through the universe. We already know there are many light years between our galaxy and other galaxies, and they're riding around within those arcs and of time, of measurement. But they don't use time like we use time. They definitely are living in the moment all the time of their life, in the moment. So if we learn how to be quiet and walk around in our dwellings in a very quiet manner, not listening to radio, not listening to TV, not watching a movie, not watching any sports, but just learning how to sit in the silence, then we will learn how to receive information on higher levels in the mode of silence. Silence is highly important. And the more that we get involved in the silence, the more we will begin to see the purity that we already have within ourselves. So, Akhenaten would like to say that now's the time. But what he wants you to also understand, and I keep saying it a lot, that many people will claim to be him. And what he wants people to know is he's not in this earthly plane, and neither is Nefertiti. Many people say, "Oh, I have a remembrance that I was Nefertiti." No, what you actually have is a remembrance being taught by Nefertiti or being taught by Akhenaten. You see, so that's what's developing on the inside. And if you're going about it correctly, the ego side will begin to melt back into our spiritual self, and it will be in a sense of governance, but power. There'll be a sense of internal power that will develop because the ego won't be waving around on its own. It'll be back in alignment with the higher self. So you might think that the ego, a person's ego, is their lower side of their higher self, and their higher self is 180 degrees opposite and truly magnified, much, much larger. And so they want you to know is that they can always see us, they can always feel our presence, and we just have to develop more of the same, being able to tune in from wherever we are in the world. That's also highly important. One of the things I want to also say here, as Akhenaten kind of move away out of being on top of my auric field, what I want to also say for whomever might be listening to this is that now is the time, more than any other time frame, to begin to invoke the presence of your long lineage of ancestors. We have many, many ancestors who are striving to reconnect with us, and we need to ask to be in touch with them. That means when you fall off to sleep at night, if you do it enough times, you will actually unlock the door, and then you are able to travel through your heart center into the ethers deeper. And so you could then find and then speak to that part of yourself. And you might discover that part of yourself literally all over the world. Could be in ancient Spain and Italy, could be in many other locations, Granada, it could be in other things, Haiti, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Africa, on the continent of Africa, could be in Asia, could also be traveling through the USSR, United Soviet, whatever that used to mean. But the bottom line is there's an opportunity for true souls and spirits to begin to meet with each other. And this is going to be highly essential now. The more that we can meditate, the better that we shall be. Even if you do 5, 10 minutes a day, that is fine. If you got 5 minutes down in the morning and another 10 minutes when you came home at night, or you are out and about, especially when the weather is warmer, you're out and about in a park somewhere, allowing yourself to connect with nature and all that is beyond and above you as well as inside of you. There is also this inner calling that we all are receiving. This inner calling that we all are receiving is allowing us to step forward. Yes, sir, Holly Hammett. My favorite people on here, Rose and Holly Hammett, coming through. Um, it's essential that we continue to evolve because this is going to move the planet faster. She's moving faster right now. I was supposed to teach my first Thursday night workshop, and I had a reading earlier during the day. I was helping someone understand the 4 or 5 dreams that they kept having. Then I laid down to get a nap, right? And I thought I was teaching my first Thursday night workshop. I wasn't. I was snoring away in the heavens of myself. And then my student, she awakened from her nap, and then she said, and that was I think Barbara Ewing, and she said, "Hey, I'm sorry I missed," but I had to let her know I missed too. So, but all of this has to do with all of this energy that we feel that's roaming around in the world. And so, one of the things I'm hearing from Mother Grace is telling us to do is that we continue to raise the vibration of our homes, inside our homes, especially places where we meditate a lot, where we break bread with our families or with friends or relatives, or places we choose to sit down and read a book. These places are constantly building energy, and energy is mushrooming up in our residences. And this is why other people are trying to tune into us, can feel your energy literally through the brick and mortar of your home, through the basement of your home. So wherever you might be, they can feel it. They don't necessarily understand that it's you raising your energy differently. So you want to raise your energy more. Talk to the spirit force in the ethers in your residences, because they will tell you what you need to do and when and how and why you need to do it, what they're asking you to do. You're going to have many of us will step back in to our the children within us. The children within us. This is why there's always a lot of in the world we know about child sex trafficking and snatching children out of the communities, because these people are trying to control the minds of children because they know something. They know that children around the world are evolving very quickly. And so, if you have children in your home, I would suggest sitting in meditation with them, introduce them to meditation, or let them discover what meditation is for them. But the whole idea is, if we have children in the homes, or myself, I'm a single individual, but I can connect with children and I don't have to step outside my home. I just do it within my residence and find those pathways in which to send forth unconditional love into the world. We're going to find more and more people trying to agitate various communities. When you're not in those communities, you need to send as much love and light as possible into those environments. So, for example, my niece is at Northridge, Cal State at Northridge in California, and I know she's a very strong Aries person, but I'm gonna send her some loving light as a commanding shield. I don't want nobody messing with her. I know her mom and dad and her younger brother are praying for her. I know her grandparents and aunts and uncles around the country, but we have to keep feeding this light, opening up so more of this light is coming in. And we have the power to communicate with other ancestral deities from, uh, I think, yes, the brother mentioned the name right here. Yes, Anubis. I was getting ready to say Anubis. You got Anubis Oracle deck there. Haven't used it in 3 years, but Anubis, he's a heavyweight person, and he will help push out energy that's very imbalanced. And so Anubis brings that to light. In ancient times, that's I think the Latin Greek side, but in ancient Kemet, he's known as Pu. And just to make sure, yes, he was known also as Anpu. And so, nonetheless, it's still the same being, magnificent being of light that is present for us to assist us to navigate through things that we're unable to see. And so this is highly important that we begin to learn how to connect more with ancestral deities than ever before. Sometimes it's, taking some books, doing some research, studying. You can go online. But what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to ascertain that information and acquire it directly from him to you. And the reason for that is you have to keep in mind with the artificial intelligence, there are going to be many people trying to manipulate the minds of men, women, and children, our people and other people as well, who are awakening to this fact that they have to change themselves. And so it will be essential to our well being to be able to allow ourselves to start changing, change the way we think, change the foods that we eat, just a little at a time. We don't want to, I'm not talking about we don't want to starve the body, but we don't want the body to be infected by negative thought vibrations from other people or other gadgets that they like to use to press that energy to create an imbalance. And so, meditation, yoga, qigong, Tai Chi, all these things are helpful. They've been in the mainstream for some time, over 30 years. So we need to gather them up like apples and cherries and save the best as much as we can for ourselves, but also share what we're saving for ourselves with others, and then share it on a much higher level, because we need to bring our energy up all the way now. Spirit of my great grandmother or grandmother Charlotte says, hey, the web of light is always visible. The hole in the middle is going to catch whatever does not actually belong. Or maybe it's the other way around. The hole in the middle lets through all the goodness and all the light, and the web catches. That's what I want to say. She says, the Mother Grace, Grandma Charlotte says, the hole in the middle of the medicine wheel, the hole in the middle of the net that allows all the goodness to pour through, and then the net itself captures that which does not belong with you or belong with whoever is on the receiving end of that light. And so this is highly important for us to remember. We all are going through changes. Some of us will have a great deal of physical energy, then we can't sleep. Others will have the exact opposite, where you can sleep, but you're also very hungry. And those things start to develop for yourself. So we're going to be looking at many things. Those of you who can plant well, who can seed the earth well, because you're able to grow beautiful veggies and beautiful flowers, continue with that work. Um, Grandma Charlotte says it is important to continue with that work. If you or have that green thumb, you're going to be able to do a lot more with that green thumb than any other time when you weren't doing anything or you didn't have a desire to skip into something that is brand new. And so we have to keep developing ourselves. That's what I'm hearing. Continue to develop yourself. The more that you develop yourself, the faster you will pick up on things. That's important. All these newbies coming in, not everyone may not get to meet them in the way that they want to, but the beings that are in the trees, the beings that are in grass, the beings that are in the belly of the earth or near to it, those who embrace the trees, their spirit cannot be shaken up. So we need to connect with them as much as possible. Establish maybe a moon day, Monday, and that's when you get together. You know, it's the lunar day, but you get together on that day with, Pisces energy, Neptunian energy. So you want to start to pay attention to things that are happening around yourself. Pay very much strict attention. Also, be amongst nature, and to, before you go outdoors into nature, start sending your unconditional love to your plants, whether they're vegetables, fruits, or just standard flowers. You must send light because they're starving for the light. Not only do they need the solar light, but they need the light behind the solar light, you see. They need to connect deeply and richly with all that's being presented. Now, um, my mother Grace is saying, be very careful of who you want to break bread or have a glass of wine with or have a dessert with. Be very careful. She says, if you don't know them thoroughly well, then do not eat at their table. Do not drink water from their tap or wherever they're getting the water from, because the energies are slightly embedded in the glass now. That energy is floating around in the water. We can't see it because we don't have those microscopic eyes, but one day we're going to develop the kind of eyesight, and we're going to find ourselves being able to tune into things faster and faster and faster. So I'm supposed to give a meaning based on a number or a series of numbers without you even saying that the numbers are connected to you. I'm hearing I'm supposed to release some information. I'll be giving some in just a second. Okay, as I said, there's new opportunities and new beings coming around you. So they want you to pay attention. Sometimes, sometimes these beings that are being encountered by you and also family members, some of them are in observer mode only. What does that mean? They've studied Earth long enough. Now, in terms of them and their energy fields, everything looks extremely large. But for us, we're like this. So, what you want to do is you want to start mustering up that internal strength. You want to start to breathe so that you can synchronize your breathing with people who share the similar qualities, similar vibrations as yourself. That's going to be essential. And I would suggest that you put a dome of light, and on the outside is reflective. No one can tune into what are you doing or trying to prepare yourself to do, but you will be able to be very quiet, and you'll be able to maintain how energy is going to flow to you out into the world. One of the things I'm also hearing is that we will be comfortably rewarded. We will be rewarded because these dogs or cats or other things that we have around us have been taking quite a charge. In other words, they've been absorbing the charge to keep us from being hit with full brunt force. So we want to pay attention, start communicating those signals with dogs, cats. If you got reptilians in your house, do it. Because the more you can do it, the more they communicate and the more information that they will be able to release into our hands. So this is very important. What I'm also feeling here is I heard the word drought, Drought, but I don't think it's a regular water drought. I think that's what is happening is it's a spiritual, metaphysical drought essence going on because so many people are trying to disrupt many people. I'll put it that way. I want to keep it more or less generic so I don't have certain people trying to interrupt or make me falter in any kind of way. But we need to start putting this energy out very strongly with our ancestors first. And you go back as far as you can. Sometimes there are things that we're not supposed to see that can be very traumatic. So I'd say, as you begin to channel that energy, you're going to put that energy out in your home, then in your modes of transportation, then around them. And this way, you're not ever involved by someone who thought they could involve you, if that makes sense. There's always people trying to trip us into something. And so, as we increase that energy field, as it gets bigger and stronger around us, we're going to be able to set ourselves free. We are not going to be waiting for someone else to set us free. We're going to set ourselves free because by that time, we have a stronger, wider, more advanced head. Now you say, how are we going to be this big head walking around, on two legs? Well, what I mean by this big head, we're going to uh, we're going to be able to gather more information and analyze it. You're going to be able to gather more information and then analyze it. Now, also during this time frame, I feel like from the months of we're in December now, so we got uh, we're in November now. We'll be in December shortly, and then you're going to have January, then you're going to have February. So, what you want to do is you want to continue to plant seeds loosely. Now, we would love to see when we plant seeds for those seeds to remain in the ground. But I'm getting this feeling that those of you who are watching right now, you need to call out through yourself as who is the next being, I will say, in the plant kingdom, because there's going to be a lot of work to be done, but the plant kingdom will be saving some of us in our sleep. In other words, many people are going to try to disrupt our thoughts, our words, and of course, our actions. And of course, if they get that far into, you know, our children, we don't want to leave the thought that, hey, the children cannot be helped. I'm here to tell you that each and one of us has the power to send forth a signal. And one of the signals are connected to Arizona as well as New Mexico. And so we want you to be on alert. I don't think anything will create physical harm, but these countries are developing uh, tonal vibrations. So they're going to try to match your mother's or your father's vibration. And then, if they're calculating just right, they want to try to overcome something, but it's not going to happen. All this food that is not good food, it's going to be turned into something better. Know that. Because at that point, that lets you know that you are beginning to tune in to your personal ancestral vibrations. And the minute that you can feel that connection, they are going to want to be in control. It'll be very important right now. I know I sound like I'm rambling, but I'm getting some information. Do whatever you can to communicate with the sun. It means stargaze as well. Be out at night looking up into the heavens. The more that you can reestablish your connection to divine source, the more protection you receive. No matter what's happening in the world, you will be saved. Now, I use that word differently because I don't want anybody that's tuning into this to think I'm talking about, oh, are they saved through Christianity? I'm not talking about that kind of save. I'm talking about the save where you begin to remember what you're here to do. I'm going to say that again. Many of us are already here and cannot disrupt anything else that's connected to them. So we want you, all of you that are tuning in right now, the Spirit wants me to tune out. What it wants you to realize is you are much stronger than what you realize. You are much stronger now than what you were 5, 10 years ago. You're much stronger now than who you were 2 years ago. So your energy is beginning to expand. And so I want to keep that in mind. Energy seeks itself out, and if it's of a higher nature, energy will seek out the highest of the highest. Everything is happening on our behalf. And so if you feel like you got to get some prayer warriors and you need to pray hard at certain times of the day, follow it because you're being directed to do something. If you're feeling it emotionally along your body, it's going to be the same. You'll be able to tune in and flip the switch, so to speak. So you're going to be able to make the necessary decisions, the proper changes. That won't be a problem. I see that being something very intense and very strong. Keep in mind that one of the best remedies, as much as possible, is to allow yourself to laugh. That is the number one recipe and remedy, is to allow yourself to engage in full out laughter. Why? Because it breaks the concentration down where people are trying to quietly hang on to you. So learn how to use your breath in a dynamic way. Like you might say be, ba. You might say pa, pa. You can release, you can break up energy fields around you. So I want you to know that. I'm going to sign off because I feel like I'm nodding out here and I got to replay that. I hope much of this information that I put out over this hour made sense to you. Hearts are coming up. So thank you for your time. I'm going to try to do some more of this random podcasting, as I call it. I'm not supposed to come on uh, at an exact time, so people who may try to disrupt, if they know that I'm going to be on a Thursday every time at 8 p.m. or whatever, that makes it easier for them. So sometimes I have to do what is called random style broadcasting, and that's just without announcing, just pop right up. So I want to thank Holly Hemming. I want to thank Rose Jefferson for finding me on here and tapping online. Before I close out, do any of you have any questions you'd like to ask? Okay. You can always email the question iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com, and I'll most certainly answer it by email for you. Anyone else? Okay. If there are no questions, I'm going to sign off, sign out. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Joy, enjoy who you are so that you can bring up a stronger light of unconditional love, truth, honesty, integrity, and so much more. We need to bring our light up more on the planet. Now, that doesn't mean you just got to be like a flame torch. You can be just this much around you, but bring it up, okay? That way, no one messes with your energy field. Because people try to mess with your energy when you are asleep, you know. And sometimes you're getting that. You could put like some selenite there or score that area with some selenite, and it'll increase the vibration, but it will turn back to more sweetness. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign out. Thank you for joining me. I got to get some rest before I do these things, but this grogginess is all a part of the earth changes that are happening in very subtle ways. So, again, iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at gmail.com. Take care. Have a pleasant evening.